So, Red Devil's down on the team, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Well, I'm happy for them. They've been out here for like 3 or 4 years. It's probably for the
What's in the
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, that's true.
I think so.
Greenville City Council will come to order. Please call the roll.
Norris,
Here.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt, White,
Yes.
Brown,
Here.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Here.
If I get everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Council members, you were emailed out the approval of the minutes. If there are no additions or corrections, they will stand approved as emailed out. You were also emailed out the current financial report. I will take a motion to accept it or to amend it. So moved. Accepted. Moved by Mr. Brown to accept the current financial report. Discussion? Call.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay, approval of the agenda. There is a need for an executive session. Ohio Revised Code 121-22, Section 3, conference with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject pending immediate court action.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to public hearing. Anyone would like to come to the podium and speak?
Okay, so I subscribe to the Dayton Daily News, and I was a little disappointed in what was in the paper this week under the headlines of amusement warehousing and new plan for Piqua Mall in Piqua. And they're going to take that Piqua Mall and they're going to include a slam ball, a basketball court, a zip line, a dodgeball, and ninja court, and a ball pit with 125,000 balls. Now, my whole point to this is, why can these other places do things like this, and yet we seem to drag our feet here? We've got several buildings in this city that are sitting empty. What can I do as a citizen? You tell me what I can do. Should I write a letter? We have the old Seder building. We have the North School. We have some other places that are sitting empty, and all we seem to get is fast food restaurants, donut shops. And so, yes, we have a theater. And by the way, they're showing this one called Ordinary Angels. I just finished the book. Wonderful. If you get a chance to go see it, I'm going Friday night. And so it is a true story, Louisville, Kentucky, right next door to us. So it's going to be there for 2 weeks. But, you know, I read this whole article, and I'm thinking, what can I do? Whose job is it to get something here in town? Because I don't patronize the fast food restaurants because I don't like that kind of food. But what can I do? Or what can I get people involved with? I had somebody, I go to a lot of events, and a lot of people know that I am out there trying to do things. And son, this is not, I know should be the park board, but somebody came up to me and they said, when are we getting a pickleball court? Because I've been after, it's been 3, and I understand it's money, I understand that. But I said, I don't know, because they're going to other places. So when they go to other places, they spend their money there. And to be honest, I go to Piqua at least several times a year, and I spend a lot of money because I go to Piqua and then to Troy. because there's so much over there. You can only find so much at Walmart. And when you can't find it, you get frustrated, so you go out of town and you make a day of it. So just tell me what I can do, because I will write letters. I love to write letters and try to get, I've written to Joanne Fabrics. I got a response back. Why aren't they here anymore? We have all these German Baptist people who sew, but we don't have a fabric store. And they told me the reason why they pulled out of Greenville was because it was mismanaged. So give us another try. I just, why don't we have a Hobby Lobby or something like that? There's so much this town could use besides fast food that, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I can get other people on board. So I'm asking from the bottom of my heart, I want to help, but I need to know what I need to do. So that's all I'm here for.
Yep, so I would start with, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago about the Texas Roadhouse, and,
Yeah.
it's, look, at the end of the day, we can't fund private business. They got to want to come here. I know one of my buildings I've showed twice to individuals that wanted to do a fun zone, but I know there has been some interest, but I would maybe suggest getting a hold of the economic development side, maybe like Mike Bowers, and just pound that drum there and see what we can get.
Well, sometimes, I think I shared with you before, I went over to Myers and I talked to them. And I said, why don't you come to Greenville? And they told me they had thought about it. And they said it wasn't near the interstate. And I know that's one of the drawbacks, that they said they were interested in Greenville, but that wasn't near, because it was out there by Walmart.
And we do now have a fabric store downtown.
That's a sewing store. She does alterations. I've already talked.
Okay, they don't sell fabric.
No, not like.
Went by the other day and I seen it and I thought.
Yeah, she does alterations. She might give classes. I stopped in and talked with her already.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I'll still keep writing letters and maybe I can make a difference. And that's what I tell people. Just write letters and make phone calls.
Another point I'd like to make is, I've got some commercial buildings and some downtown buildings, and so April Brubaker and I've talked a couple times, and I've suggested when we do have an empty building, we don't just put a for rent sign in it. We look at what we don't have, right? Let's say we don't have a chocolate shop. Well, let's look at another city that has one that's successful and knock on their door and say, hey, we've got a great building for you. So I know that's something that April wants to do a better job of recruiting.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so not just, hey, we got an empty building, it's, hey, we have an empty building,
What can we do
and
with it?
we think this would be a good spot.
Well, what about the North School? I know, I was at that auction, I've been at that, I went to their open house, I went to when they sold it the first time, I went to it when they sold it the second time. Those people from that church did a fantastic job. It has a gymnasium, it has a kitchen, and they did all those rooms over, they did a super job. And I used to walk out that way to the cemetery, and I would walk around that building, and I thought, such possibilities. You could use that for so many different things, because I was on the board at Gettysburg and we were going to try to do something similar to what I keep thinking that building could be used for, but what our drawback was we didn't have an elevator and we couldn't afford an elevator and we couldn't get the village involved. And so now that they've knocked it down, I've heard a lot of people boo-hooing, well, you know what, we tried. And you all didn't step up. So you can only do, most of our people were senior citizens. So I'm a hard worker. I'll get out there and I'll push and I'll talk and I'll promote. But why not check with the guy who bought that building? I was there the night they sold it. I think it only brought like $22,000 because Rich Edwards sold it. The guy standing right beside me was bidding against him. And then he backed off and that guy got it, and now it sits empty and windows are broken and windows are boarded up. And is it going to meet demise like Gettysburg? I don't know. And it's so perfect though. It's perfect for a senior citizen building. I used to hang out with the deaf all the time, and let me tell you, there's a game that those people played, and we had well over 200 people at that event, and it was every Friday and Saturday night. And I can do that game. but I need a place to do it. And so I tried to do it at the fairgrounds, and they called it gambling. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll find some other place to do it. And I want to be able to, so people can win things, they could win money, they could win prizes or whatever else. So, why can't we do something with North School? If it's already been fixed up, then maybe that guy would give it back to the city. And then we can turn it into something. You could have movie night there or game night. The library does that. So anyway, okay, I'm done for now. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Looks like we have some Boy Scouts back there. Would they like to speak?
He said, no.
Okay. Sure.
This is for Ryan. When is my driveway getting painted? We just had a cops over there yesterday again. 2 cars parking, blocking the driveway. You got a city cop and I guess a school cop. The school cop's dumb enough to look at me and say, well, I wouldn't tell this driveway. Are you an idiot? Where's it go? To a garage. On a driveway, The officer that was there was very nice though. He's, said he was gonna make a few phone calls too, try to get it done. I said, well, I put in paperwork to have a handicap spot put in there. I have handicap tags. I can't park in front of my house. I had no answer on that one either. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know about the handicap.
I did what I was told. I was supposed to turn in an application for it, and I did, and no response back from it, and I go check on it later on, they don't know nothing.
Yeah. But as far as the painting goes, I've talked to the street superintendent, and yeah, as soon as, we're getting some good weather this week.
I know, it's gonna be, I told him, I said, I'll go get my spray paint out. Will you paint? No, you better, I'm going to, so.
Absolutely.
But as far as the handicap signage, there's just a form fill out. It goes to
I did.
PD. So it sounds like maybe we misplaced that. So could you fill out another one so we could get
I
that?
suppose I could.
Yeah.
I mean, I have permanent life disability. I cannot
Yep.
have far distance and all this stuff, so.
But I know it usually takes, it comes to council, we approve it. After the police department does the investigation, we
Yeah.
approve it.
Police department, I gave it to him, I got handicap tags on my van.
Where does that go, Ryan? To the police department or to police chief?
I
Okay.
did that 4 years ago.
Okay.
Hasn't happened yet, so.
Okay. All
Give
right.
us a second chance.
Yeah, we'll get you that.
Got another chief for you, gentlemen.
All right, anyone else?
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to administration report. Mr. Mayor.
All right. First of all, I want to welcome Boy Scout Troop 134 that meets at the First United Methodist Church, and they're here to meet their final requirement. These fine young gentlemen back here, and obtaining their citizenship in the Community Merit Badge, and this is their final requirement. Mr. Zecker was suggesting that maybe the final requirement should be a 2-minute speech in front of council, but that's not going to fly, I don't think. So we'll just welcome them and appreciate you guys being here.
Mr. Mayor, can we ask them to give us their names at least? Say hello?
How about we do that? How about you stand up and introduce yourself? Appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Shane Eikenberry.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, on Friday, February 23rd, we're going to be presenting a proclamation for Engineers Week, and this Friday on the 23rd, and following that, we'll have their Engineers Week balsa wood competition. So that's something that will be of interest. It's a competitive thing, and I know that the mayors in the past have been attending that event, and I'll be going there as well on Friday. Couple of other things I want to tell you about. Main Street Greenville is going to be having a Main Street mixer next Monday on the 26th. It's going to be at the Wayne Theater from 6 to 8 o'clock, I believe, is the time. And they're going to have a speaker who's the Veronica Minemaker, the Director of Marketing at the Dayton Chamber of Commerce, and we're hoping that she can give our merchants some helpful information in that regard. And then also on the 29th, March, the coming month of March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. They're going to have an event at the Birchwood Training Center, and the Dark County Commissioners will be presenting Dark County DD with a proclamation to mark that month. They'll be having a lot of events throughout the month for developmental disabilities. So
Do you have the time on the 29th?
the 29th, yeah, it's at 1 o'clock, and again, it's at the Birchwood Training Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So with that, I pass.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few updates on some projects. Yellow Park restrooms are started. Street Department's been down there doing some site work, so once they get that site work done, and then we'll start doing foundations and putting the building structure up. The plan still is to try to open them by Memorial Day of 2024. With that, Dark County DD did get a grant for an adult changing station, so it'll have Greenville's first and, as of now, only adult changing station, so we appreciate their help with that. And then it'll be just a nice addition for downtown for public restrooms and for use at the park. 502 project is ongoing. They've had some decent weather, and a lot of curbs and sidewalks have been completed. They have one more tomorrow. They're going to repair a valve at 3rd and Chestnut. So I had sent everyone an email earlier. That area is going to be, there's about 30 properties there that will be without water tomorrow, and then be on a boil advisory while we get the samples back before they can safely start drinking that. But it is starting to wrap up and making some good progress on the 502 project. And then last, aggregation. You have a piece of legislation here for gas and electric aggregation. So first of all, one contract expires in December of 2024, which is the electric, and then the gas expires October of 2024. So we'll start working with our consultant, and that's what this legislation is, to work with our consultants on getting new pricing and a new contract for the citizens. With that said, mailers went out this week from our consultant to, so it focused on new move-in residents and newly eligible residents, so residents that maybe were already locked into a different contract and there was a fee to get out, so they didn't want to come under the city's portion. And this will just allow them to come under the city for the next 8 months until that expires, and then once the new contract's in place, they can do that. But I just want to make sure everyone's aware that anything that is part of this aggregation program, it always has the city logo on the letter. Everybody, a lot of letters go out. I get a lot of phone calls of people trying to get us to switch and sign up. But if it doesn't have a city logo on it, it's not part of our aggregation program. That's the easiest way to tell them apart, is the logo on that. And with that, I will answer any questions on legislation, but I will pass.
Brian, do you know what the gas aggregation price is at this point?
I can tell you, yes. Gas is 0.756 per CCF.
And I think it's important to note, so this allows us to contract with the consultant, but this doesn't require any resident to be part of this if they don't want to. And so this just gives them a price. They can always opt out if they think they can find a different route. We believe that we provide, through the consultant, the best rates that are out there, but this doesn't force anybody to have to go with what we pick. This just puts another rate or another option out there for them.
Is that residential only or commercial and residential?
This is residential only. Some commercials would qualify. It's all on your total usage.
Okay.
There's a threshold that you get to a commercial rate once you hit a certain usage.
Ryan, what's the selection process for that consulting firm?
So that consulting firm was originally put on the ballot back many years ago, and that's how they were originally picked. So
They just keep coming back?
they just keep coming back. And so there's, I think we're up to about 30 different villages and municipalities, and we all use them, like Sydney, I think Hollinsburg, Wayne Lakes, us and Sydney are probably the two biggest major players. And then a lot of villages and cities in the Dark, Shelby, Mercer County area.
Just for understanding, how do they get compensated? Do we end up paying them
they get paid through the contract, like whoever they contract with, I don't know what that rate is, but they get a portion of that.
Successful have they been in their, I mean, I know our electric was really good this past 2-year period.
Right.
Gas wasn't quite so good.
Right, yep. Overall, very good success rate. Again, there's a lot of consultants out there. But this was the one that we put on the ballot. We have a good working relationship with them. They've actually, so it was AGE, and part of this legislation is they have sold to a bigger company, but we're still going to have our same consultant is going to work for them. The owners were our consultants. They sold out to a bigger company.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On the YOLO restrooms, are those normal park hours, or is those 24/7 open? Or?
So the plan is to have them open 365, but we will have restricted hours, probably like 7 to 9. So they'll have time locked doors, just like the main park restrooms in South Park, just for vandalism and people sleeping in them, that kind of thing. And then it'll have cameras on it. We might have to adjust it some, like for downtown events and things like that, but for the most part, it'll probably be like a 7 to 9.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Delk? All right, move on to our law director, Mr. Reaman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just touch on one piece of legislation, the waiver of the payment for the water leak. That does come with an inspection for the wastewater department to make sure that the water didn't go down a drain. That's what allows us to alleviate, so the water wasn't treated by the wastewater plant. And so because of that, we do waive it. So that's the rationale for that one. And then other than that, I'll answer questions. And you've already mentioned we do have an executive session tonight.
All right, move on to City Auditor, Ms. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would request a committee assignment for the community funds requests. We can get those taken care of.
All right, so who would that go to? Who have we assigned that to in the past?
Finance.
Finance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doug and somebody else.
Finance.
They on?
Yeah. That's the chair, but. Freezing.
Where's my list at? What'd you do with it?
Assignments.
Would be Doug.
I don't have my.
I think Doug's one of them.
All right, so you said finance would be Doug Schmidt. Greg, you are vice chair, and Leon, you are a member. When do you need that back?
It's totally up to you. I mean, I know.
When would you like it
I know
back?
people are wanting to get it done. End of March. is
Okay,
fair.
second meeting in March on the 19th. Have that back? Okay, we will make that assignment. Anything else?
Just the supplemental is there for the CIP request, and if anyone has any questions, you're fire away. Other than that, I pass.
All right, thank you. Moving on to committee reports, we have none. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. First, we have a supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the General Fund, Waterworks Replacement Improvement Fund, Wastewater Replacement and Improvement Fund, and CIP Fund in the sum as follows. Transfers elected/auditor and treasurer in the amount of $3,034,867.73. These funds are needed for CIP transfer and 502 water main project. Capital improvements, waterworks replacement and improvement in the amount of $1,557,277. These funds are needed for Water Tower East engineering and 502 water main project. Capital improvements, wastewater replacement and improvement in the amount of $1 million. These funds are needed for solids handling engineering. General government, new equipment in the amount of $1,264,732. Street department, new equipment in the amount of $670,11, and roadway enhancement in the amount of $114,414. These funds are needed for various 2024 capital improvement projects.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this ordinance second, third reading only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Morris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to ordinance resolutions number 2. We have an ordinance establishing personnel in the city, and this does have an emergency clause.
An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance. This ordinance establishes personnel within the city, amending and replacing ordinance number 23-59. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance. An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Godwin. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 3, a resolution authorizing Safety Service Director to use Choice One for engineering service in 2024.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to use Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional engineering services in 2024 according to the attached rate schedule. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to use Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional engineering services in 2024.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to use Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional engineering services in 2024 according to the attached rate schedule. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to use Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional engineering services in 2024 according to the attached rate schedule.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt this resolution. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 4, a resolution waiving payment for a water leak.
A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $941.64 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as the result of a water leak at 500 West 3rd Street, Greenville, Ohio. This resolution waives the payment made by Richard Miller in the amount of $941.64 as a result of a water leak located at 500 West 3rd Street, Greenville, Ohio.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules to give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $941.64 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 500 West 3rd Street, Greenville, Ohio. A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $941.64 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 500 West 3rd Street, Greenville, Ohio.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 5, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract amendment with ODOT.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a contract amendment with the Ohio Department of Transportation for OH-2023-025. This resolution authorizes the mayor to sign a contract amendment for OH-2023-025 with ODOT to increase the total project cost, the federal share, the state share, and the local share, as well as moving the end date from 12/31/23 to 6/30/24.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a contract amendment with the Ohio Department of Transportation for OH-2023-025. A resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a contract amendment with the Ohio Department of Transportation for OH-2023-025.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt. Discussion?
I got a question.
Yes.
What's this in reference to?
Greenville Transit.
Okay.
This is for the funding we reserve for transit, so ODOT is going July to July on their fiscal years, and then we have a new mayor, so the contract needs to be with them.
The increases aren't an actual increase. The increase is related to the extension from December to June, so.
Okay.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our last one, number 6, a resolution authorizing Safety Service Director entering an agreement for aggregation consultant services.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement for aggregation consulting services with Priority Power Management, LLC. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement with Priority Power Management for aggregation consulting services to obtain gas and electric aggregation discounts for the residents of the city of Greenville.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement for aggregation consulting services with Priority Power Management, LLC. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement for aggregation consulting services with Priority Power Management, LLC.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
All right, that completes our ordinances and resolutions. Under new business, we have nothing. Under old business, we have the tabled zoning amendment. Is there anybody who wants to do anything with that?
And Mr. President, I move to take this tabled recommendation from the table.
Okay. It's been moved to untable this tabled zoning recommendation.
I would move to accept the favorable recommendation.
You gotta vote on.
Yeah.
No, we gotta vote on that. Okay, sorry. In a hurry.
Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
All right. Now it's untabled, we vote on it. We would need a motion to,
Yes, motion to accept the favorable recommendation. There we go.
okay, discussion on that?
I would like to make a couple of comments. I know that in the past, I have been a no vote in regards to this item. And I recently made a trip with Councilman White to Upper Sandusky to meet with the CEO. And after meeting with him, hearing a presentation, visiting with the residents, visiting two of their centers, I find that, I think it's necessary that we have the type of housing they're offering, which is senior housing with income restrictions. I did not enter into this lightly. I made it known to the gentleman that we met with, who was their CEO, that I was not interested in low-income housing, but I was interested in meeting the needs of some of our senior citizens who wish to downsize. So I didn't enter into this whole mess lightly, and the process that I went through to make my decision was thinking about what our community needs, how it needs to be done, and the gentleman answered all my questions, and was very patient with me because I kept chasing him back that I did not want low-income housing.
You are thorough.
What?
You are very thorough.
Well, yeah, I hope so.
Questions.
So with that, I appreciate you hearing my process of getting to this point. So thank you to the council members and to the president.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Norris,
No.
Rogers,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
So with that, we've got the favorable recommendation to accept it at the next meeting, then I'll have legislation to change the zoning, which will get voted on as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to M, council representing outside committees, Dark County Visitors Bureau, which is Mr. Brown.
Would be me. Well, I know we were talking heavily about the eclipse. I wish I had more for you, but I had a whole email conundrum, which I talked to the mayor about last week. And I got a lot of my email over, but did not get any from that. And so I don't have any of the minutes or any of my notes or anything from that. So they hit hot and heavy, the eclipse, which is coming April the 8th. There's going to be a selfie mural done. I think we had to look at 17 different pictures and vote on the top 3. And so there'll be a mural done up that they'll be able to do a selfie. And it will be on I can't remember the kind of, like the board or whatever that it's going to be on, but it's going to be able to be redone for different events. And so they'll be able to repurpose it and, repaint it, redo whatever, and maybe use it for First Fridays or what have you. So anyway, there was a whole lot of art that went into that, so that was super exciting. There's a lot of meetings going on in and around the county that's all about the eclipse. So that was really what I have.
Okay. Let's see, communications. No communications. Call the council.
Norris,
Well, I welcome everybody for being here, and thank you for that, and department heads especially as well. So with that, I'll pass.
Rogers,
Yes, I'd like to thank the Boy Scouts for coming up, and hopefully that works out good for you, and keep on plugging away. And with that, I pass.
White,
Congratulations to the Boy Scouts for being here tonight and moving forward. I'd also like to thank everybody for being here tonight at the meeting.
Brown,
I would say exactly the same thing. It's always nice to see a full house. And I think the air conditioner finally turned off now that we're almost done. So with that, I pass.
Did you hear my teeth chattering?
Oh, man. My toes are ice.
I guess it's me, right? Okay, I think I've said enough tonight. I do want to thank the Boy Scouts for coming, because that's a big commitment that you're putting forth to stay in an organization and to move forward, work hard to get all the merits, all the things that you need, so thank you for coming. I also thank those people who come every week and make their wishes known to council, so thank you. And with that, I pass.
Godwin,
I'd just like to say, keep going for your merit badges for the Boy Scouts. And for a guy being the leader, that's a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff you got to do to keep these kids busy. I've done it, both of my kids have done it, and keeps you busy. And I'd like to excuse the absences for this month, too.
Okay, motion moved to excuse the absence for the month of February. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes. And one other thing, I don't know who put the stop signs down there at 502 in Vine, or at Maine. Whoever's idea that was, I don't get almost hit no more, and wife flipped off and stuff, and
Glad to hear it. Work in progress. All credit goes to Mr. Myers.
thank you, Mr. Myers, for doing that.
I thought you would accept the credit for that.
And thanks for putting the
It's a
stop
good
sign,
idea.
like the extra stop sign out in the street, like that was,
Because they weren't seeing the stop sign that was up in the
that worked well.
right of way. So, with that, I'll pass.
President Baumgartner.
Yeah, just welcome Troop 134. I believe my oldest son was a member of that for a couple of years, maybe with Mr. Godwin's son back in the day. Yeah.
It was.
But yeah, thanks for coming up. I think, and especially troop leader, it takes a lot of work, and thank you for helping these young men get better and be an important part of society. Thank you, everyone, for coming up. Appreciate everyone coming to the podium and speaking. And of course, the department heads, thank you. And with that, I will entertain a motion to rise to executive section.
So moved.
Call the roll. Or we just need to, we don't need to call a roll, right? Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Right. Evening, everyone.